Hello Stargazers, Bryan Colter here, Evolutionary Astrologer, for your horoscope report for the upcoming Scorpio full moon that happens on April 27th, 2021. And this is a massively powerful full moon for reasons I'll describe. Before I get to that though, quick announcement. At the end of this video, I have a guided meditation, and this is something I used to do months back. I stopped doing them for reasons I don't need to get into, but they have returned. As of this video, I've had many requests to bring them back, so here we are. First, I'll talk about the astrology as usual, and then we can leverage meditative states to really work with these archetypal energies on a much deeper level and find deeper levels of integration. Now, before we get to the Scorpio full moon, let's understand the energy a little bit more broadly. I talked about it in the last video. The first half of April was all about movement, because we entered the season of Aries, which is a fire sign. It's assertive, it's about action, it's about moving forward. Meanwhile, the planet that rules Aries, Mars, was in an air sign, Gemini, which is also about movement on some level. And fire and air like each other for obvious reasons. They have a mutually supportive relationship with each other. Those elements do. And not only that, all the planets in the sky were moving forward. We have no planets in retrograde. We have Pluto entering retrograde at the end of this month, right around the full moon. So I'll get to that in a little bit. But the first half, 3/4 of the month, rapid acceleration. I've certainly seen it in my personal life. I'm sure you've seen it in yours as well. And it was very hot. It was very heated. And I don't mean the temperature, We're talking about Aries and strong Mars. Mars was really accentuated this month because it was in a beautiful trine with Jupiter. That's something else I talked about in the last video as well. But Jupiter puts this expanding quality on anything it touches. Here it was trining Mars. So that was the energy we were feeling then. And Aries and Mars really activated those archetypes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Using it good, we have, initiation of new projects. We have people coming up with incredible feats of strength and bravery and courage and indomitable will, all those beautiful, virtuous Mars and Aries qualities and behaviors. But we've also been seeing the dark side of Mars, which is a heightened level of anger and fear and attack, and especially people attacking people with words and ideas, because Mars was in the sign of Gemini, the communicator, as I said, which is an air sign on the mental plane. But we've also seen a lot of violence over the last few weeks, a lot of shootings in the U.S. I don't mean to center this on the United States, but that's one example of just we're running a little hotter right now. And even in my own life, I've had some rather tense situations with other people, and it's not something that normally happens to me because I'm not that type of person, and usually I don't bring that out in other people. I'm pretty tranquil, but even I've been running into it, during this first couple weeks. So, we can work with the energy or against it always. So we'll always see the high and the low and the medium. Now we've shifted into more Taurus energy. Okay. We have many planets in Taurus. Let's see. We got 4 planets in Taurus. We got the Sun, Uranus, Venus, and Mercury. Taurus is a fixed sign. We also have 2 planets in Aquarius. We have Saturn and Jupiter still in Aquarius. And then, of course, the full moon is in Scorpio. Why I'm mentioning all that is these are all fixed signs. We have 7 of the 10 planets in fixed signs. And with Taurus specifically, Taurus likes to slow things down. So we had this rapid engagement and acceleration at the beginning of the month, and now it's time to take stock of these, new directions we've gone in, slow down a little bit, and get grounded, because it's an earth sign, Taurus is. Get grounded, get earthy, stay focused, start to plod along, keep going, make it real. Earth energy is always about building something. It's making it tangible. Also acquiring the resources, whether that's friends and alliances or monies or skills, to continue in these new directions we've taken, these projects, and continue to move forward. And fixed signs are really good for that. It's like once a fixed sign person has really picked something, they can really go in that direction, and it's like a a dog with a bone. They just don't want to let it go. And that's actually a beautiful thing in a lot of cases. It can get us into trouble, as all the polarity between these archetypes can. And fixed signs are classic. The shadow side of fixed signs is stubbornness. That dog with a bone, not letting it go. And shadow side, Taurus specifically, of the fixed signs, we take this idea of stubbornness, and if you read about Taurus anywhere online or in some book, astrology book, you'll read that within the first couple sentences. Oh, you're a Taurus, you must be stubborn, And that is a common behavior with especially all fixed signs, but you'll read this most commonly with Taurus because it derives from the fact that it's connected to that fixity energy that really thrives and is focused on stability, okay? And the stubbornness that when we take it too far, it always reminds me of video stores and newspapers or Kodak film. What these all have in common are companies that, not all newspaper companies, but many have refused to adapt, like Blockbuster Video, for example. Thriving company back in the late 90s and early 2000s, worth mega $1 million, maybe even $1 billion company. I don't remember. And then in the early 2000s, a little unknown company named Netflix walked into Blockbuster headquarters and said, "Hey, Blockbuster, we got this great idea for an online video streaming service. How would you like to buy it off us for $50 million? And Blockbuster laughed them out of the building. I bet they regretted that decision. Just a few years later, they were all but non-existent because of that very same company. Kodak film, the same thing. Oh, we're not going to embrace digital media. Poof, there they went, So stubbornness can get us into trouble as well. And we're seeing a lot of stubbornness, especially with people who have a lot of fixed signs in their chart, if they're going to the shadow side of it, which of course they're more susceptible to doing as a fixed person. But even globally, we're seeing that, mainly fixed set of ideologies and belief systems. This is where we tie in the fact that the nodes of the moon, I've talked about this many times, are in Sagittarius and Gemini respectively. And the south node we want to look at more suspiciously because that's the karmic residue of the collective that we're trying to grow beyond. And that residue is dark side Sag, which is about religion or dogma or, just some rigid belief system about, when we feel we're right about something. It doesn't have to be about God. We can grow certain blinders when we believe something so wholeheartedly. There's something kind of cool about being so passionate about something, but whenever us humans think we know what reality is, it turns from reality to fantasy. We can't possibly know. As a Sag, I admit it sure is fun to think about and talk about, but this is where we try to cultivate high-end North Node Gemini, which is about a clear perception of reality. Whatever I believe reality to be, it's not quite that. I'm open to being stretched and explored. I'm open to being shocked and surprised and the rug pulled out from underneath me as far as my understanding goes. But the South Node is more compelling. It has a charge to it. The North Node, not compelling. It's nothing but a good idea. Most people will never even reach it, especially now. And another prevailing theme in this orchestra in the sky, if you will, is the ongoing Saturn Uranus square. Talked about it in every single video. Going to continue to talk about it because it's the biggest event of the year, ongoing, even trickles into 2022, where I'm not going to repeat all of that again, but it basically comes down to artifacts of the past, habit energies of the past, the old, if you will, represented as Saturn, Father Time, which likes duty, responsibility, practicality, let's not forget the wisdom of the past. Let's stay ingrained and entrenched in that and build upon that. And there's some beautiful wisdom there. And this is at crossed purposes through the square with Uranus, the freedom seeker, the rebel, on the shadow side, even getting into criminality. But it doesn't, Uranus hates rules, it hates feeling like it's in a jail cell. It wants to constantly expand. It wants evolution, innovation, inventiveness. Let's take it beyond. Let's not And of course, we want to have a balanced relationship between these two energies. We don't want to completely blow up the past and start all over again, kind of V for Vendetta style. It's like we want to understand the wisdom of the past and really break free from that to a certain degree to where we can rapidly innovate, especially with this explosion of the technological and information age we have find ourselves existing in. So, old, new, restriction, freedom. This is the major tension of this year moving into next year. And these two planets are heavily activated during this full moon. I know I haven't mentioned the full moon yet much. I'm building up to it. Bear with me. The Saturn Uranus square is what's really dominant right now during this full moon. Again, dominant whole year, but especially now, because it's tied up in this axis with the full moon. Because we have Saturn square the sun and the moon, hence squaring the full moon. And since it's squaring Uranus, implicit in that, we have Uranus conjunct the sun, opposite the moon. Hope your eyes don't turn glassy here. But anyhow, Saturn-Uranus in a major connection relationship with this full moon. And we take this idea of fixity energy, where people can become stubborn. There's the fixed sign, shadow side fixed, especially with 4 planets in Taurus. Stubborn, tie in a little dark side Sag, stubborn and fixed set of ideologies and belief systems as the world is drunk on religion, so-called. And we're at the friction point between these two planets, we're tied up. It's very much a fight of ideas right now. And nobody really wants to budge. That's the feeling there. And plus, Taurus has slowed things down a little bit. So we're just kind of locked in the stare down, and nobody wants to give an inch. That's what it feels like energetically. And meanwhile, people are, let's say, passionate even more so than they normally are about those ideas, because now we involve the full moon, where emotional levels and moodiness too, potentially, as at an all-time peak. And the reasons for that, I said this in many full moon videos. Whenever we have a full moon, emotions are heightened. Okay? It has a major impact on our planet with the waves and the tides and all that, but also on our psyche, specifically our astral and emotional body, because the 4th dimensional body of the moon and the earth are interconnected. They exist, they interpenetrate each other. I've talked about this before. This is why we have such a profound relationship with the movements of the moon and how they affect our moods. So full moons, our emotions are running at a higher voltage or wattage now. That's just every month that happens. We take into consideration as well that this is a supermoon, where it's a little bit closer to Earth than it normally is. Actually, it's at its closest. So if you have the benefit of having a clear night where you see the full moon, it's beautiful for some stargazing that evening, if the weather's good enough, because that moon's looking rather large there in the sky. So even supermoons are even stronger than just the run-of-the-mill normal full moons. And then we take into consideration that also it's in the strongest, let's say, emotional sign of Scorpio. All the water signs are on the emotional plane, the subjective plane. They both are related to basically our subjective reality and our emotional vulnerabilities and sensitivities. And the Scorpio in particular is more attuned to, let's say, the stormier or turbulent subset of emotions. So people can be very reactive with any of the water signs if they have a lot of water in their chart, but especially people with heavy Scorpio, because they can, they're deep and psychological, they're very connected to their inner world, and they live through their subjective reality more so than others. And when people are really immersed in the subjective, they become more reactive in general. Some illustrate this more than others, but they become more reactive to external stimulus. So more reactive. We all have a little bit more of an itchy trigger finger, emotionally speaking, especially during now. So it's very important to be cautious about that. The recognition that people's emotional world and their connection to their own heart energy is running at maximum voltage right now. Okay. Including yourself, probably. Now, of course, it really depends on, the makeup of your own personal birth chart. Some of you will be more susceptible to these energies than others. But, of course, we're generalizing here. It's also important to know where the full moon in Scorpio lands in your birth chart, what house it's in, what planets in your birth chart it's connected to. That's a whole nother topic. And, of course, I don't know your birth chart, so I can't give you a personal reading here, unfortunately. But I am going to start teaching on my new website, so shameless plug there if you want to learn how to read the symbols and understand these videos that I do on even a deeper level. Website's coming soon. I know I keep saying that. Everybody's being very patient, but more wrinkles keep popping up. So these emotions, we're going to see them play out everywhere, right? But especially in relationships. Okay, our close the inner concentric rings of relationships, especially, life partners and boyfriends and girlfriends, but even some best friends and certainly family too, where the emotions will come out in full battle dress now, So just be aware of that. And if you find yourself triggered in a big way, try to reel it back a little bit. Recognize that, there's that itchy trigger finger. Maybe it's better to just remove yourself from the triggering situation and go within, find that still point within. But the reason why I'm saying this is most likely going to happen in these interpersonal relationships is we have Uranus, that rebel, that freedom seeker I keep talking about, is also next to Venus in the sky. And Venus is known as the goddess of love. So poor sweet Madam Venus right there next to Uranus, the planet of lightning bolts, which kind of has an electric, shocking feel to it, and they're tied up in the turbulent waters of this Scorpio energy. So this is going to be a deeply psychological time, okay, where triggers are going to be more obvious, and it's important to shine a light on relationship now. And this is where we can work with evolutionary astrology in our own personal lives. A beautiful journaling prompt or question to ask yourself in your moments of reflection and contemplation is, where in my close personal relationships have I sacrificed too much of my authenticity? That's a beautiful question now. And we will see a lot of drama in relationships now. The classic sort of fortune teller prediction when look at Uranus and Venus or seventh house interactions in like a personal birth chart reading is, you're going to get a divorce or something like that. Low probability prediction. And in terms of breaking up, I'm sure if we were to get the average of the entire globe, how many breakups happen on average per month or whatever, and we were to compare that to how many breakups happen in the last 2 weeks of this month, we will see a big spike of that happening, probably statistically speaking, but it's still a low probability prediction. But we recognize the origin of it lies in this interaction between Uranus and Venus, applying pressure to our relationships, where emotions are running at maximum voltage, is because Uranus, again, is about freedom. Where have I sacrificed so much of my authenticity? And I've talked about this many times. Uranus represents the process of individuation, becoming a truer version of ourselves. We've all been shaped to a certain degree by culture and family. Those are the two big ones, So we have our human personality, which is very malleable, ever-changing. The current name tag I have in this lifetime, here I am, Bryan Colter, here you are, But we've had many lives as ancient soul incarnate beings, So it's the combination of the soul essence, the divine personality, and the acquired personality. Now we take this idea and apply it to relationships. In relationships, we always manipulate each other, maybe not in a big, overt, nasty way. Usually it's subconscious, but we're all susceptible to psyops, if you will, and this happens all the time in our close relationships. And Uranus hates it. Uranus is, I want to be myself, damn it. I want to be individuated. So the idea of people, they might not even be able to put words to this, but a lot of people during this time seeking more freedom and authenticity within their close partnerships, and it might be, and of course this can split up relationships too, the defiance of Uranus. I've had enough of this. It could be the dam breaking, and a dam that's maybe overdue for breaking for quite some time. Then all this astrological heated energy hits a crescendo and then the dam breaks. That'll happen a lot now too. But you can also just do this in a more subtle way, harmonious way, where you can actually grow closer together over time. But it's a good time to get a little space, to take some space, get some freedom, get some breathing room within your relationships. Return to your own authenticity. Maybe go out of town, leave your partner to go out of town with a friend or something like that. It doesn't have to be extreme. It's just like, I need a little bit more breathing room. A lot of people are going to be claiming that in their lives, especially if these planets are in relationship-oriented houses of your birth chart. And claiming some more breathing room can actually be very helpful, especially when triggers are a little touchier now. I'm going to call this video Deep Psyche Spelunking. This is a perfect time to go within with fierce introspection. Because if those triggers come out to play, recognize that the origin of them lies in pain and suffering within you. Because this all stems from anger, from injustice or hurt or grief or fear, all the low consciousness emotions, which have a purpose, of course, but we just don't want to stay immersed in those places, because the more we focus on those low consciousness, pain-based emotions, the more they grow in power. Because where our attention goes, energy flows, because we're Jedis incarnate. Like wherever we focus our concentration, whatever that is, energy, chi, prana, life force, the 0-point energy field goes there, and that includes our thoughts and emotions. And that includes positive and noble thoughts and emotions, and also negative emotions and thoughts. They're living within us. They're entities. They're not beings like us, but they do have a life of their own, and a life we've given them by our focus on them. We've actually created them. And it's good to leverage some of those Taurus words now, like we're taking responsibility for the energies we've created. Now, of course, other people can trigger us, already pre-existing entities within us, and we're offered with this can be an uncomfortable time emotionally, of course, but it's really a precious opportunity, because as we act as a sounding board together for our wounded places, it comes up, the little gremlin within, nasty little gremlin, sometimes with these really strong emotional energies, it's almost like people become possessed, as their personalities change dramatically. And time to take some of that Uranus freedom, that Uranus space, take a step back, go in a random direction 20 miles or kilometers, on your metaphorical motorcycle, or real motorcycle for that matter. Feel the wind in your hair. Go into contemplation, reflection, introspection. That's one of the most powerful, let's say, psychic muscles that you can really strengthen right now, is your muscle of introspection. Taking accountability for your emotions and thoughts, recognizing as they become triggered now that, of course, you can analyze the situation, but you can sit with that pain within and just breathe into it in a body-centered Taurus way and just be in the present moment. And whatever you do, don't feed that negative emotion, negative thoughts, because it'll only grow in power, but just sit in the presence of the moment, Taurus style. The peacefulness of Taurus. Bring that body-centered awareness, conscious awareness in the body, and you can feel the pain. Just become disinterested in it. Just feel it's there. But within 5 minutes, no matter how strong it is, it will pass if you no longer feed it. And deep psyche spelunking. It's like, let's get to the bottom of these things. Let's take this Scorpio psychologically investigative, private detective energy and go to the dark, creepy, dark corners of our psyche and see if we can transmute some of that pain into love and light. And that's the core evolutionary intentions now, with the goal being to expand our consciousness. Now I'm going to do the guided meditation that will help us more deeply connect to our soul energy and less so to our human personality, if you will. And as usual, I'll be using a technology called binaural beats. So it's really beneficial if you use headphones while you listen to this, because there's a slightly different tone in each ear. It's very subtle, you can't tell, but it will balance the energy in both hemispheres of the brain so you can enter into a very deep meditative state a lot quicker than normal. Enjoy. Sit in a nice, comfortable position with a straight spine, and simply just breathe into your belly. Nice and slow. Deep belly breaths. And feel your belly expand as you inhale, and then your chest expand. And feel your belly contract as you exhale, and then your chest. Always belly first. Comfortable, rhythmic breathing. And no pause between the inhale and exhale. Just keep it flowing. And try to feel the beat of your heart if you can. It's very subtle, but it's there. It's the pulse of life. And try to coordinate the breath with the heartbeat. And do 4 beats of the heart per inhale, belly first. And 4 beats of the heart per exhale, belly first. In, out. Very comfortable breathing. And feel the air go through your nose as you inhale and exhale. And now bring your awareness down to your left foot. And I want you to visualize a beautiful white ball or globe in your left foot. And each time you inhale, see this white ball grow a little bit brighter. And you might feel a little sensation in your left foot, like some warmth or some tingling. That's perfectly okay. And now as you inhale again, visualize that white globe going up into your left ankle, growing brighter, and now up into your left calf, and your left knee. And if you get distracted from the visualization, that's okay. Just bring your mind back to the task at hand. And see this white ball in your knee grow brighter and brighter. And now allow it to move up into your left thigh. Feel its presence in your left thigh. And inhale again and bring it up to your left hip. And now move your awareness down to your right foot and see the white ball move there. See this white ball almost like flickering with the glow. Beautiful white glow. And breathe in again and bring it up to your right ankle. Now into your right calf. And into the right knee. Into the right right thigh now. Breathing deeply and evenly. See that white ball go up into the right hip now. Now extend this white color throughout all of both of your legs. See both of your legs in a brilliant snow white color. Now see all this white color condense back into the ball, right into your lower abdomen. Filling up the entire trunk of your lower body. And now into the belly. Feel it fully in the belly. And as you inhale, see it grow brighter as it expands a little bit. And as you exhale, see it condense but maintain the brightness. And focus on this visualization in the belly for a little bit. Now see the white ball move up into your chest area in and around your chest, the entire chest cavity. And while it's in your chest, you can even give it a little bit of a rosy white color. That's really good for the heart center. And as you inhale, you see it grow brighter. Now move this white ball into the right shoulder. And now the right upper arm. And it continues to move slowly down into the right elbow. And into the right forearm. And wrist. And into the right hand. And the hands are very sensitive. You can probably feel it strong in your right hand as a tingling sensation or warmth. And in your mind, you can actually visualize your right hand coming up to your face. And just look at your etheric right hand with your mind's eye and just see it glowing in a white color. It's beautiful. Okay, now the white ball is moving up your right arm a little faster now, up the arm, back up to the shoulder, across the collarbone, and into the left shoulder. And it slowly falls into the right upper, or the left upper arm. into the left elbow, the left forearm, the left wrist, and now in your left hand. And again in your mind's eye, bring your etheric left hand up to your face and see your etheric left hand glow in a white color. You can just turn it and look at it in amazement and with a curiosity. And then lower your etheric hand and visualize the white color moving quicker up the left arm and now back into the left shoulder and going across the upper back of the shoulder blades and now up into the neck. See this white ball in and around your neck, softening all the tissues and the tension in your neck. And now see the white ball move up into your head space and see it glowing so brightly in and around your head, almost like a halo. A bright golden white sun in and around your head. And hold this visualization for a little bit. See the white ball lower back into your chest area. Breathe into it. And then see the white color extend out through your entire body. Fill up every single cell of your entire physical body and your astral body. And see yourself shining in all directions as a luminous being. This is soul energy. It's who you really are as an extension of God. The ancient, ineffable, immortal, divine essence. The real you. The I am that I am. The part of you that's been evolving over hundreds of lifetimes. Unconcerned with the passing dramas of the current incarnation. The part of you that is love, that is light, that is God. And each time you breathe, tap into your immortal essence. See that part of you shining brightly in every direction with its high frequency having a positive effect on everything around you. And now, focus again on the rhythm of your breath. In, out. And you can start to bring your awareness back to your environment around you. And start to wiggle your fingers and toes. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.